Are you joining us?
Oh, I can, but it's,
Can we wait for you?
no, I can hear you, it's fine. And that maybe it will not.
All right. Y'all are both muted.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, this is 003-11/30/2020, Rojo versus Ramirez and some others. I think we're here on another, is it a motion to quash? Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I've read it. It looks like we gave you the records for the child that was involved in the accident, and now you want records for that child's father. Is that right?
Not exactly, Your Honor. We did receive the records, or we've placed the deposition on written questions for the previous phone number that was disclosed to us, but we have since, discovered in a statement that was provided with disclosures that there was another phone number that the child actually was using at that time, and that's what we're seeking this time is the other phone, the records for the other phone number that they did not disclose in the deposition.
Did the child say that he had that phone in his car at the time of the accident?
No, he did not.
I don't see how that would be relevant.
But, and Your Honor, I'd like to also point out that the record that they're referring to is actually a claim being made by Mr. Ramirez regarding the accident. And it's his cell phone, and he lists his information. And then later on in the document, it talks about how the accident happened. But this is not Nikki saying that he used this phone. This is Mr. Ramirez's personal cell phone.
Your Honor,
I don't see how it's relevant.
we have no evidence that this is Mr. Ramirez's phone number. What we have is that this statement that they produced in discovery that says that this is the phone number where he can be reached at. It doesn't even mention the other phone number that we had. We don't know that that phone number was being used, or which one was being used, or both were being used, or if he shares this with his father. He did tell us that in the deposition, I believe, that he spoke to his mother on the phone shortly before the wreck. And then he produced some printouts of his cell phone records, but no, that call does not show up. And so we have a phone call, this phantom phone call from CBS right before the accident that does not show up in the phone records that they gave us. And we're still waiting on the other phone records. And we have this phone number right here is said that is his phone number where he can be reached. And we want to be able to we want to make sure that we're not just getting a partial, just a portion of the phone records, because they didn't tell us about this phone number in the deposition. And but yeah, and the phone records that they did produce that are just printed out from AT&T doesn't mention a phone call that he says happened. So we're trying to find out, get the complete records for that time, because we believe that he was on the phone at the time of the wreck. And that's what we wanted to look at.
Your Honor, the records that we have already produced and the ones that they are now subpoenaing for Nikki will show that he was not on the phone. I mean, they have the phone bill that shows the times of the phones. Secondly, this number was not disclosed because this number has nothing to do with the accident. This is Mr. Ramirez's telephone number. It's his personal cell phone number. The document that they are referring to is not, it is a claim document. I'm happy to show you the screen that shows it a little more clearly than in plaintiff's motion, but it's clearly being made by Mr. Ramirez, and he is providing his contact information. Then later in the document,
Your
it's
Honor,
Nikki's
I hate to
statement,
interrupt.
but excuse me, I believe it's my turn right now. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
So I think that this is bordering on harassment of the Ramirez family. I mean, we've gone past the beyond what is reasonable to produce. And Nicholas's testimony was not transcribed. There was no court reporter. Mr. Cox was not present for the deposition. He doesn't know. There's a home video of it, but that's not admissible. And also, you're going to hold a 17-year-old responsible for remembering every detail from an accident, and he was shaken up. He doesn't remember it all. So to say that he didn't tell you the right phone number is a little bit of a stretch.
Well, here's what I want to do. I want the records in camera to view, and I'm just want to. I need the numbers to match up. If it shows the cell numbers, there was phone calls between the two that they're looking for, I think that is relevant. If not, though, then once I look at it, I'll know pretty quickly. And I guess I would need to look at the records from Mr. Ramirez's phone and the child's phone. And I guess the mom's, is that the other one that they're talking about?
Well, they haven't. They've deposed the mom, and they haven't asked for her cell phone records yet. I mean, the whole family cell phone records. This is way beyond what's reasonable.
Your Honor, we tried to do this as narrowly as possible.
Let me have all the records. I'll look at them. If there's phone calls between, well, did he say he had Dad's phone with him?
No, he did not. There's the first we
He
know
didn't
about them
specify
looking
which
for
phone he
Dad's
had.
phone is the DWQ. He gave his phone number.
Your Honor, he did not mention which phone he had with him. And I would point out that the statement that where the phone number that we're seeking was disclosed is signed by Nicholas Ramirez, the minor, not the father.
It is, but at the top, it's clearly the claimant, Mr. Angel Ramirez, making the claim. And then it includes Nikki's statement at the bottom. But he wasn't asked which phones, how many phones, anything about all of his phones. He was asked his phone number, and he gave his phone number. He also testified he was not on the phone while he was driving, and he may have called his mother from the parking lot before he headed home.
Well, if he has his own phone and we've already given those records, I think we've given all we need to give.
Well, Your Honor, we have no evidence that that's his only phone. And we actually have evidence here. And there's been no evidence produced with the motion to quash or motion for protection. The only evidence is what we produced, which is the witness statement signed by Nicholas Ramirez, where he lists this phone number. And again, we've asked for before and 2 hours after the wreck for these two phone numbers. That's it. We're just doing a very narrow request here. And we've actually agreed that it can be reviewed in camera, I think is the best idea. We've also agreed that they can actually look at the records review the records for 5 days and redact anything that they think is the father's personal information or private information, and then submit. And if we have a problem with anything that's in that time frame, we would submit it to the court to be reviewed. And that would narrow down the burden on the court, where you don't have to do it. It would protect any personal information that the father might have in that 6 hour time frame.
Your Honor, a 6 hour time frame when an accident happened in 20 minutes and it's not even relevant. It's just not.
It's only relevant if there's phone calls made while he's driving. And so that's the question are the records going to show that phone calls were made while this kid was driving? And,
well, Your Honor, it would also be relevant for our negligent entrustment claim, because the time period before would show whether he was acting on at the behest of the mother, if he was running an errand or performing a task on behalf of the mother at that time. If that's why he went to CVS. That goes to our other claim as well. So I
He
mean,
already testified about why he went to CVS. He knows he didn't.
Ms. Whitehurst, if I could finish. Thank you. We're looking at a period of trying to figure out what happened because we're getting different stories even from the defendant himself. And as it's been recognized, his memory is not perfect of that evening. So the objective way to determine whether he was on the phone, whether he spoke to his mother, whether he was acting at the behest of his mother, is to look at the phone records for that short period of time. We're
Your
just
Honor, the phone records don't show why he went to CVS. There's nothing in the phone records that's going to say Mrs. Ramirez sent him out to run an errand.
We don't know that because we haven't seen them.
Well, that's not what a phone record says. It doesn't have why you're somewhere or there's nothing that will show that.
It would
And
have to be
anything-
messages, ma'am.
Let's go back to I'll look at all the records, send them to me, let me know what phone numbers I'm looking for. If there's phone calls between those two numbers, then I think they might be relevant. I don't know how, but they might be relevant. And I'll look at it with that time frame. So I need to know, I guess, when the accident happened, what day, what time. And so I'll look at the relevant times pertaining to the accident. But if you'll send them to me in camera, I'll look at them. And if I think they're close enough to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence, I will provide them to the plaintiff. If not, then I'll just quash the order or the request.
So are you asking that the AT&T send the records directly to you?
Well, they can send them to you and you send them to me, yes.
Okay, so send them to me first and
Yeah.
not to plaintiff's counsel.
They'll go to if you want that, or we can just have the record service that's gathering them, send them directly to the court.
Either one. I mean, it's probably easier for them to be sent directly to defense counsel and then she can provide them to me.
And
Yeah,
then I
that's
can
fine.
provide you with the relevant information for
Exactly.
you to know what to be looking for.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all.